Hello friends, this is Carrie and welcome back to I Like Reddit channel. Today we have 3 stories out of the I Don't Work Here Lady subreddit. Let's begin. Our first story is posted by Neon Fuzzball. I didn't design your damn shirts, Karen. This tale's from several years ago when I was working at a consulting firm. Sorry if the details are a little fuzzy, this was a long time ago. I'm also long-winded and sleep deprived, so it's a rambling tale too. The office layout on my floor had 4 private offices that were for 4 different independent contractors. One specialized in graphic design, one in copywriting, and one in sales media, and one in advertising campaigns. All of the assistants for these different specialists sat in one large room out in front at tiny desks. Each of us worked for only one of these consultants, but was happy to pass on basic information to the other ones. We, however, had no contact info or calendar access for anyone else's boss. I was sitting at my desk doing SEO work when Karen flung open the front door violently enough it actually banged against the wall. I was the closest to the door, so I jumped and looked over. Karen took this as a cue to storm over to my desk and throw down a CD. "Did you people make this?" she snarled. I pick up the CD and look at her. No idea what the heck she was talking about. Was my brilliant reply. "Did you people make this?" Oh good. Volume was the only reason I didn't know what you were talking about. Thanks, Karen. Karen snatched the CD back from me. "We had these t-shirts designed by graphic designer dude, and he gave us these files and the printer said they're all messed up. He ripped us off." Me. "Oh, so graphic design dude made these for you? Well, he's not in right now." Karen launches into a loud, profane tirade, questioning my ability, my education, my personal attractiveness, and parentage, which, yeah, aren't the best, but that has nothing to do with her stupid t-shirts. I finally pull out my mom/librarian voice. I am neither, but you know the voice I mean. Me. Ma'am, surprising us both. Karen stopped talking. Me. "Ma'am, I don't work for graphic dude. Best I can do is give you a pen and paper to write a note for him. But if you worked with him, you should have his email or phone number. Email's the best way to get in touch with him." Karen. "When will he be back in the office?" Me. "No idea. I don't work for him. You'd best call or email him or leave a note." Karen. "Well, go in his office and check his calendar. Tell me where he is." Me. "No, couldn't even if I wanted to. His office is shut and locked." Karen. "Well, unlock it." Me. "I don't have the key. We just work in the same building." Karen. "Call him and tell him I'm here and need to speak to him." Me. "No, I don't have his number. I'm not his secretary." Not really true. I have his number, but hell no, I'm not playing receptionist. Karen. "I spent a ton of money with you and I demand." Me. "Ma'am, you do not spend a ton of money with me. I don't work for graphic dude." Karen. Yeah, you don't do computer stuff. You're just a secretary. Now get him on the phone." I took a second to figure out how me sitting in front of a computer and using it when she came in equals not doing computer stuff, or how secretary equals no computers. But this wasn't the brightest tool in the box, and she was giving me a headache, so I went in to my boss and asked her to dislodge this Karen barnacle from my life. My boss. "Ma'am, I'd be happy to give your message to graphics guy." Karen. "Where is he?" My boss. "I don't know. You can leave a message." Karen. "Are you the manager?" My boss. "Yes. She's a consultant. She is self-employed by her own company, so I guess she's her own manager. Technically mine too, but neither of us were sure what Karen was going for here." Karen. "Well, I want to speak to the owner." My boss. "Owner of what exactly?" Karen turns and points to me. I couldn't believe it. This woman snarls, "That girl there." My boss and I are sharing a look. My boss says to Karen, very slowly, "You want to speak to her owner?" Karen nods emphatically. "I want her fired." The other guy in the office pipes up, "Don't you mean disowned?" My boss glares at him. My boss. "Ma'am, I am her boss. I'm not firing her, and we have nothing to do with graphics dude. We can't help you. Please leave and try and get in touch with him on your own." More shrieking. Karen is now questioning both me and my boss's work ethics, personal grooming, and voting preferences. My best guess is she got herself all worked up into a righteous indignation rage at the t-shirt issue before she came in, and she just transferred all of her ire to me because I opposed her will. But her anger at me for not working for graphics dude is way out of proportion. Graphics dude assistant walked in to the office during all of this, and being the accommodating soul that he is, he offers to look up the file. Karen stomps over and hands it to him while he explains that graphics dude is out of town at a wedding and won't be back until Tuesday. Graphics dude, by the way, does not do any work outside of the office, which upsets Karen more. The file opened up fine for graphics dude's assistant. It was some hideous summer family reunion t-shirt. The other dude looks at Karen. So, what's wrong with it? Karen scowls. The screen printer said the file's all messed up. Graphics dude's assistant dude looks confused. It's fine. Karen. No, it's not, she shrieks. Now, the other guy is trying to explain that the file is fine, but she can't get in touch with graphics dude until next week. Not good enough for Karen. She keeps yelling while assistant dude looks at the image more closely. Assistant dude. Oh, are you Mrs. Karen B-Face? Karen. Yes. Assistant dude. Oh, okay, I can fix this for you. Karen smiles broadly, praising him in a sickeningly sweet, good pappy manner, and saunters over to us to explain how she's still going to get us all fired, and it's about time, blah blah blah. Assistant dude comes over, hands her a new disc, and sends her on her merry way. My boss goes back into her office and shuts the door, telling me not to get her if that harpy comes back in. I look at assistant dude, who is grinning. Assistant dude is a college sophomore graphic dude, grossly underpays to gain experience. He gives no craps. So I know something's up. Me. Okay, assistant dude, spit it out. What'd you do? Assistant dude, come take a look. On his computer is the image Karen wanted on the t-shirt, opened from the disc she brought in. Freaking Comic Sans. McBee Family Reunion 20XX with a dumb picture. Okay. Assistant dude. And here's what I just saved on the new disc for her. And shows the same image where he had replaced the text with B, pay me, and the middle finger graphic. Assistant dude is smiling. I remember her name finally. He said, graphic dude was pissed. She sold him some sob story about why she couldn't pay half up front like we'd normally do, and he made an exception. Then once she had the file, she refused to pay for it. Originally, we were going to get the shirts printed for her, but she stiffed us and took the file and ran, that she could just get them printed herself. I told graphic dude not to give her print-friendly file for approval, but he thought since we were going to handle the shirt order. Yeah, I get it now. She likely went to a cheap local screen shop that I happen to know doesn't have anything close to the latest version of any graphics program. This comes up a lot in this office. If a customer uses that shop, the shop guy will try to open file saved from the latest version of the graphics software and go, can't open it. Gotta get it saved to an earlier version, and sends the customer back. This Karen wasn't bright enough to remember anything past file no work, you bad. And of course, you all are probably quicker than me and realize what it took a minute to dawn on me. Karen gave assistant dude her disc. He saved the new graphic image on the new disc and gave it to her. She left the original disc file in our office. So unless she's smart enough to make a copy, so now no longer has that file she stiffed the graphic artist dude on. I'm sad to say that she never came back in. I hate a story with no follow-up, but such is life. Myself, I hope she got her shirts printed without anyone catching the file change. I brought assistant dude some banana bread I baked the next day to thank him for his efforts. Anyway, on to our next story. If you've been watching till here, please put some heart emojis in the comment section down below. Our next story is posted by Red Bandana 34. For the last time, lady, I'm not a court secretary. So I work in a prison in a supervisory role, and I'm always seem to be mistaken for employees of other places. I am sometimes involved in transporting newly sentenced criminals to prison. This involves going to court, collecting them. It's normally a straight in, straight out ordeal. It's also worth knowing that I'm a woman. A few other officers and I went to our local court to collect 2 men who we were taking back with us. The 2 men were being held separate, so me and another prison officer, Jake, split off to go and collect one of them and escort him to the van. Jake goes into a room first, finding the man talking to his mother, Karen, and politely begins a conversation as I enter. Karen just does a beeline for me. Okay. Hi, I was wondering how we go about the appeals process. My son here is innocent. Me. I'm not sure, ma'am. You have to ask a court official or a lawyer. I work in the Karen. But you're a secretary to the judge, so you should surely know this. I don't want my son going to prison. He won't survive a second in there. I can't disclose the crime for obvious reasons, but I can assure you this is a very dangerous place for those found guilty of this offense, so I understand her fear. However, I can't help her as I know very little about the court process. Me: ma'am, I'm not a secretary. I'm a prison transport officer. If you look at my uniform. Karen: you're a woman. Me, very confused and looking to Jake for help. Yes, I am, but I'm not a secretary. Karen looks to Jake. There are no female prison officers. She's definitely a secretary. Jake: no, she's an officer. There's loads of female prison officers. We need to escort your son, so if you could just go and find Karen. Ridiculous. She's dressed like a secretary. Now, this is a load of BS. I'm wearing the exact same uniform as Jake is. Black army boots, black trousers, white shirt, black tie, and even the fancy hat that we sometimes get to wear on jobs like this. Literally the only thing I'm wearing that could make me look like a secretary is my glasses. Me: ma'am, this is a prison officer uniform. Now we need to stick to the schedule, so we need to go. Please go to the front and speak to actual secretaries. My colleague and I need to get going. This guy stands up hurriedly, letting Jake take a hold of the handcuffs, and comes along with no problem. And we turn to leave. We're halfway down the corridor, within view of the security team in the courts, and thus the actual secretaries, when Karen grabs my arm and tries to spin me around. I roll my eyes, and Jake turns to glare at her. Me: can I help you, ma'am? Karen: yes, you can tell me how to appeal. You're a secretary. Do your job. Me: for the last time, lady, I'm not a secretary. I'm a prison guard. You can see my uniform. You can read my badge, yes? Unless you're really that stupid. Also, it's incredibly sexist of you to assume that I'm a secretary purely because I'm a woman. Now, we're behind schedule, so if you would be so kindly go and speak to those men over there. All the secretaries on duty that day were men. Quite funny. They can help you. I turned to follow Jake, who hasn't bothered stopping, and by this point was out by the van, and all but storm out of there. I heard Karen complaining to the secretaries that I was rude for trying to get out of my job. The secretary's response: sorry ma'am, we can't help you. We aren't prison officials. Edit: the courts did contact the police. I'll keep you all updated on what happens next. Anyway, on to our final story. Our final story today is by Houston Red 2001. As I've told you before, I don't work here. I work for a non-profit organization. We're an office building and we rent out office space to other non-profits at a cheap rate, though we currently have one for-profit tenant, the Taxman. The offices have been a little crowded as we have increased our staff size in the past year. So how the building is set up, everyone entering has to come directly through my office to get anywhere else in the building. Rather annoying for me, but oh well. It is rather obvious upon entering my office which organization I work for. I have signs and a ton of paraphernalia pertaining to my organization. Well, the Taxman is rarely in his office as this is his second location. So typically his clients come in, see that he's not there, they'll simply ask me to place some papers on his desk for them, or something similar, small task. This one client of the Taxman, entitled Cow, comes in rather often, but being an entitled cow that she is, she speaks down to me and gives me many tasks to do. For example, she once came in, discovered the Taxman wasn't in his office, and she started rambling off to me. I need you to give this to the Taxman. Tell him I don't know what to put in XX section, and I have another question about XX, so I need you to have him call me immediately. I politely respond, ma'am, I don't work for the Taxman. I work for a nonprofit organization which owns the building, but if you would like to write down your notes for him, I would be happy to place the message on his desk for you. What an incompetent employee you are, she stated as she stormed off. This began happening rather frequently, at least every other week. Every time I would remind her I don't work for the Taxman, and I would often note that I have no idea what she's talking about. Each time she would insult me and leave. The last time she came in, about 2 weeks ago, she walked right up to me and said, "What do you even do all day? Watch Netflix? Your job is boring." I, politely as possible, said, "No ma'am, I run a youth volunteer program. I run a county-wide volunteer center, do all the accounting for the organization, serve as a property manager," and list off my very extensive job description to her. She laughed and said, "Yeah, right. My daughter is about your age, and she just sits at a desk all day watching Netflix. You can tell your boss whatever you want, but I know you don't do anything." What an entitled cow, right? Well, today, about 30 minutes ago, guess who waltzed into my office? That's right, The oh so lovely entitled cow. I told her the tax man is in, but he's currently in a meeting with someone else, and she could go and knock on his door to let him know that she's there. She stared at me for a moment, before finally leaving my office and walking back to the tax man's. 5 minutes later, she walked back into my office and said, "It sounds like he's in a meeting with someone." "Yes, ma'am, that's what I just told you." "Well, I'm not knocking on his door and letting him know I'm here. You're his receptionist, that's your job." "No, ma'am, I'm not his receptionist. And as I've told you many times before, I do not work for his company. You can either wait back there until his meeting is over, or you could knock on his door to let him know you're there. Either way, it doesn't affect me." "Are you kidding me? I'm here for a meeting with him, which was supposed to begin 5 minutes ago." I ignored her, and she just walked out, only to pop her head in 2 seconds later to say, "Seriously, I'm not knocking." I said, "Okay," and she walked back to his office to wait. It's a small building. I can hear everything happening in the hallways. Can currently hear her sitting outside his office mumbling, "Seriously? Taxman? Finish your meeting. You're supposed to meet with me. Frick your incompetent receptionist." Frick me. The incompetent receptionist of the tax man who just watches Netflix all day, right? Anyway, that's all the stories I have today. Please stop on by Reddit to show the OP some love and an upvote. Links to the original stories will be in the description box below. If you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell notification to let you know when I've uploaded new content. Thank you for watching and have a great day.